I'm sorry, guys. I meant to upload last week, but between everything I had going on with the main channel, which had the unboxing, plus the gaming channel where I was playing Mario Kart World, I have been insanely busy just getting out all the content around the Switch 2. And I only just recently got a chance to really sit down and just play some games on it, not for YouTube. And I gotta say, this thing is pretty cool. So after a week of having it, I figured why not give my impressions on it and let you guys know what I actually think now that we're past the launch and everything that's gone on with it. Hello and welcome. My name is Wolfy and you're watching Lesser Than Cake, the channel where I don the moniker of Wolfy the Witch, and I do this with full body tracking, believe it or not, and face tracking. But digressing. Well, is it really digressing or progressing? Either way, the Switch 2 is out now, and I actually have one, and I do love it. I've played a lot of Mario Kart World, I've played a lot of Cyberpunk on it, I even played a game called Rune Factory, which is a series that I've been into since I think it was the Nintendo DS. But I have unfortunately had to spend a lot of money buying a lot of things for it, and I've had a lot of experiences, and I'm actually slightly overwhelmed with everything Nintendo has done for this console that they didn't really make too apparent. Like, for one, these Switch 1 games that are getting updated are coming fast and, like, frequently. We've got Splatoon 3, which wasn't on the list of games getting an update, and I did call that Splatoon was going to show up on the first year. I just didn't call that it was going to be a free update to Splatoon 3. But Splatoon 3 got updated, so we now have a multiplayer shooter that is just great. It's a good game, and honestly, I'm going back to it now because one of the things that turned me off of playing it in the first place was the performance issues. We've got, as I said, Mario Kart World, which has been a hectic experience online. I've been destroyed more often than not with it, and it's definitely one of those games where even if you get good at it, there's a chance that you're going to lose entirely just based off of the RNG. And yeah, I don't know if I would say that that's a good thing because I used to be one of those people who could consistently place it in the top 3 when it came to online. And now, sometimes I'm lucky to have broken 12th, and it's entirely because in the middle of the pack, you can get absolutely destroyed. And yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I'm having a lot of fun. The thing that I'm sure a lot of people are wondering is, like, how powerful is this thing? How good does it actually look? How does it feel? And I gotta say, it's interesting because coming from the Switch to the Switch 2, it's a massive upgrade. The controllers feel nicer. The actual feel of the console itself feels great. The screen is better in every single way. Higher resolution, HDR, plus the high refresh rate. The docked experience is still amazing. I've actually, as I said, been playing Cyberpunk, and I've been playing it docked and undocked, and it's just great. It runs phenomenally. The actual power of this thing is surprising, and that, I know, is a weird thing to say because looking at its initial specs, it looks still anemic, but at a whisper quiet amount, it is outperforming my Steam Deck and my ROG Ally in the exact same game. And the thing that really caught me off guard is that the Switch 1 games that are getting upgraded to Switch 2 versions, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they look amazing. I don't think I've ever seen these games look this well, not being run on, say, a high-end PC. So it's crazy to me to see a little handheld like the one that we have now that is just this strong. It's good. It's just really, really good. And it's really, really quiet. But then when it comes to portability, things do kind of take a bit of a turn. Unless you're like me and you carry a backpack everywhere you go. See, I've been taking it around. I've took it to work. I've taken it back, taken it to a couple places. And the portability of this is more or less equal to the Switch 1 when it comes to battery life, like the OG Switches, and the Steam Deck. And I mean, realistically, it's more like the Steam Deck than anything else. It's about just as wide. You still have to carry a kind of cumbersome case. So it fits in like most bags, but like if you're carrying around something like a Loungefly, it might not fit into that. Some of the more compact cases might if you want to try to force it in there, but I kind of don't. You'd have to like maybe separate the screen from the controllers. That might work. You might be able to get that to work with like a Loungefly. But yeah, no, it's not as portable as say the 3DS was, or your cell phone, which I kind of didn't expect. I don't expect PlayStation's handheld that they're planning on making and Xbox handheld that they're making to be like they're going to be even less portable based off of the specs that I'm seeing. But digressing, portability of this thing is a hit or miss, right? If you can play your game and do your thing within a 2 to 3 hour range, you're probably fine. And generally speaking, that's how my life kind of goes these days. Like, I've got an hour-long lunch break. So playing Mario Kart for an hour, it still leaves me like an hour and a half of battery life that I could use elsewhere, but I'm going to get it to a charger beforehand. And when it comes to the like charger situation, it's also a little weird. If you're charging without the dock, it charges faster than if you're charging with the dock. So you could hypothetically have this thing as like a mostly handheld system if you really wanted to. Dock performance is actually something that's really cool on this thing though, like using it as like a set-top console. It was good with the Switch, but with the Switch 2, it actually feels like a meaningful upgrade that actually makes it so that games look great. You can see some of this footage of Mario Kart World, some of this footage of Cyberpunk 2077. I could throw in some footage of Splatoon even, which has been updated. And these don't look like Switch 1 games or even games that would run on a handheld console. Cyberpunk in particular is magical. I don't know what CDPR did, but whatever they did, it's freaking awesome. Like, it just is. I love what they did here. And I mean, we could have a whole conversation about optimization and that kind of thing. But when it comes down to it, CDPR killed it with this one. And I'm already kind of like trying to figure out how I'm going to like compare the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch 2. And there is another game, which No Man's Sky, they kind of run exactly the same. So it's, yeah, there's a lot of like nuance to actually like taking a look at everything into this thing and like actually testing it. But feel wise, Cyberpunk feels great on the Switch 2. The actual games I've played feel great. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma is another game I picked up. That's another one that has pretty good performance. It's just generally a fun game, but you could tell it was made for the Switch 1 and then ported over to the Switch 2, as opposed to like Splatoon 3, which the art style lends itself a little bit better to running at lower performance settings, where they put that update through and it looks like a Switch 2 game. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, but the actual dock performance is still very, very solid, really, really good. And although things like VRR are missing, they may get added later. I'm not 100% sure if they will or will not, but it works pretty well. And the lock 60 frames per second during docked is actually nice to see, because not having to play games at 30, it's kind of an upgrade. It is an upgrade over the Nintendo Switch 1. Now, actually gaming on this thing though is interesting in handheld, because it has the same problem that the Nintendo Switch 1 had, which is it's got a flat back. And so you do have this kind of situation that happens where over time your hands might get a little bit numb. The same amount that they get done with a Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Switch 1. There's just modern handhelds do that. And the one thing that this has going for it is its kickstand, which is like actually really, really good and usable. I've actually used that kickstand more than anything else. I just pop off the Joy-Cons and then use them, and kind of the same way I would use these controllers, where I'm just holding them like this. And so that actually works pretty well. And kind of talking about the Joy-Cons are an improvement overall. The bigger size is nice. The button feel is a little bit better. And when you're holding them, you can actually press the inner buttons, almost like grip buttons. There isn't a way to map that in the Switch currently, but like Wolfy thinking, pie in the sky thinking here, there is a possibility that maybe something like this could happen. It's possible. I'm not 100% sure, but the way that the Joy-Cons have pretty decent, like internalized IMU-based tracking, I could see the potential for maybe them approaching something like VR in the future. And apparently the Switch 2 can actually use VR modes. It's just nothing can actually access them yet. And if they were to do that, it'd be pretty low resolution. It'd be very difficult for me to actually actively say that that's a good idea. 1080p is pushing it, and the 120 is fine. It's just, it would have the power for it though. That would happen if they did that. So, and it's an interesting idea to think about, but I don't entirely think that I don't really think that it's plausible or should happen. That being said, I do think that it's still very, very solid. In handheld, it's perfectly playable, and honestly, like, your hands are going to get tired before the console battery most likely dies. And then you can put it in tabletop mode and just plug the charger in. I mean, that's just me. And that is one thing. The charger is actually kind of cool because you can charge it from both the top and the bottom. Not simultaneously. You might be able to do it simultaneously, but you can do it. It makes it so that however you play the console, the charging is actually a little bit easier. Which, I actually think is really nice. Now, there are also some fun surprises built into the Switch 2, like the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 works with mouse and keyboard. Did not expect that, and the mouse mode is actually relatively novel and kind of fun. There are definitely some things to be desired when it comes to mouse mode. Better button remapping would be kind of a must if we're going to continue to actually push this. I really look forward to Metroid Prime 4, which is going to be the first real implementation of that mouse mode that I think will really show off the console. Cyberpunk did some crazy stuff, like there's motion control, like you can do a reload thing where you do that and it reloads, or you could swing the Joy-Con. I've been playing with a Pro Controller. I have not been playing with that, so I can't really talk too much into it, but the fact that they even did it it's cool in the first place. So there's a lot of little things that they have done that are just really, really cool, really nice to have, and it's like a massive upgrade to the original Nintendo Switch. So then, is it a must-buy? It all really depends on the kind of gamer you are. For me, I'm having a great time, but I'm also the kind of person who has a massive library of Nintendo games. I have a massive Steam library. I have literally a version of every OS gaming handheld, being the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, and now the Switch 2, and I have the Switch 1 as well. And I do this as this is what I do. I make videos about these things. So I needed it day one, to the point that there's a story, but I have two of them. So yeah, there is a reason that I had to do it. But I think if you are not a huge fan of Mario Kart World, if you're not excited about the Donkey Kong coming up, if you're a Splatoon fan, maybe there's a reason for it now, especially because, Splatoon Raiders literally got announced. And if you're a Metroid fan, of course, there's a huge reason to get it this year. But other than that, unless you're in this niche that I just happen to be in, there's a lot to wait for, right? You haven't gotten your next Zelda, you haven't got your next Mario. The person who will want this above all else is going to be the person who skipped the Nintendo Switch 1 because of performance issues, and now can get all of the Nintendo Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 with better performance, give or take a few. So that person has a lot to play right now, especially because you got Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which both got those updates that make it so that they actually run amazingly on Switch 2. And I'm even going to replay them myself because I want to see what these games look like at 1440p, 60 frames per second locked as I go through the world. So yes, I have a lot to do and a lot to play, and I've been loving it. And if you've got one, you probably are loving it too. Let me know in the comments down below. And yes, I see you, person who says just buy a Steam Deck. I'll acknowledge you. You're down there. I know you are. You're always down there. Got nothing better to do. So, hello. Hello, person. But when it comes down to it, instead, we're going to enjoy having the Switch 2, and I'm going to continue to enjoy having the Switch 2. So that's where I'm going to end it today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, you consider giving it a like, maybe comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Wolfy, out.